All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If everyone is able to actually put me in speaker view, just so you're able to see my video while I am talking and keep yourself muted, that would be great. We are going to get started this morning. Again, thank you so much for joining us for our virtual Lend a Shoulder Day today. My name is Kevin Pitts. I work at Big Shoulders Fund. I am our Assistant Director of Next Generation and Events. So I'm really excited to host today because it's a very special day and it marks the first time that we have hosted our event hybrid fashion and in both our Chicago and schools in Northwest Indiana. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time at a Lend a Shoulder Day who have never been in person, our virtual program will actually be very similar to what our in-person guests will be able to see today. You will get a chance to hear from Josh Hale, our president and CEO. You'll get a chance to enter a school classroom and engage with some of our scholars and to learn about how to stay involved as a member of our Chairman's Advisory Council. Vicky will be speaking later. A Lend a Shoulder Day started 22 years ago today as a day to connect longtime supporters and those new to Big Shoulders Fund directly to our mission. And that was by inviting these supporters out to one of our 72 schools to meet some of our amazing principals, see the work that's being done in every classroom across the city. It was founded as an opportunity to break down barriers and come together with students and teach guests science experiments, as you might see today, and have guests read stories to students or hear them read stories and hear their experience in their school. So we're really excited to be able to bring that virtually to you today. Now in our 22nd year, the Chairman's Advisory Council continues to lead the event and bring more and more supporters to the cause. This year's event was led by our Lend a Shoulder Day committee and its co-chairs Joe Thompson and Brett Hewlett. Our goal today is to provide the same opportunity for you virtually that our thousands of guests have received over the past 22 years. And now we're actually going to get a chance to hear from Josh himself before we kick everything off.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the 22nd annual Lend a Shoulder Day. Remarkable to think that for 22 years, people, friends just like you, have taken time out of your schedules to get to know more about our mission. And we have seen that so many of you who come back each year to be part of this special day, but so many of you who are new and just getting to know us, we have found that over time, this has been a great port of entry of people coming into our mission, seeing it firsthand, volunteering and spending time getting to know the students, the teachers, and the neighborhoods that really make up the richness of our mission, but also our great city. Today we have nearly 300 people going out to 14 of our Big Shoulder Fund schools, and we are thrilled to have all of you part of that. In particular, KPMG has been a great partner in this Lend a Shoulder Day. This year, once again, they are distributing thousands of books to all the pre-K through 6th grade students in our schools. And on this day, they're going out to one of the schools where they're going to read to those students, about 20 of their own volunteers. And they're going to spend time talking about literacy, future hopes and dreams, broadening our horizons, and more than anything, building relationships with some of the great up-and-coming leaders in our city, the students in our schools. I want to thank in a special way the Chairman's Advisory Council for once again leading the charge for Lend a Shoulder Day. The Lend a Shoulder Day committee is led by Brett Hewlett and Joe Thompson. They've been once again heroic this year as we find ways to do things differently amid this COVID pandemic. And we haven't missed a beat. And their leadership has meant the world. I know that you have competing demands, pulling you in lots of different directions. But you're taking time out of your schedule because just like all of us, we're bothered by the plight of too many in under-resourced communities who are rich in talent and hope, but don't have the access to all the opportunities we want. But through this program, through this mission, we come together as a city and we say to them, we're here to partner with you and make that possible. So thank you for your own time. Big Shoulders Fund has 92 schools across Chicago and in Northwest Indiana where we recently expanded our programming. It's been fantastic to grow and develop and to reach even more children. And for 35 years, that's what we've been doing, growing and reaching more and more children, partnering with them in families and community. And This is certainly important to learning, to ensuring children have access to a quality, values-based education in a safe and structured environment. But it's also about these vital community-based organizations, these schools that are part of the tapestry of Chicago, where children go in to get charged up, where they find opportunities, where we come together to partner with them. For 35 years we've been doing that, and this year we saw parents speak up more and more saying that these schools matter. Well, we've heard lots of stories about the changes amid COVID in our city. We saw enrollment rise significantly. And that means that we are doing a great job in partnering with the students, and the families, and these communities. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you spending time with us on a day like this, but throughout the year. And for so many years, many of you have been helping us to make our mission a reality. And for those that are new today, thank you for joining us. And I want to thank in a special way the Big Shoulders Fund team for all they did to make this day possible. Certainly Amy Draza leading our development team, and Tim Liston and Kevin and Sam and all the others who worked so hard to make this day special for all of you.
Thank you so much for those kind words, Josh. I'm really excited everyone got to hear from Josh, our current president and CEO this morning. As we jump into the program now, we're going to be able to hear directly from our school and staff at one of our schools in the Brighton Park neighborhood, located on the southwest side of the city, Pope John Paul II. We have on our guests today, Philip Cahill and Yamili Kano. Philip is the principal at Pope John Paul II, and Yamili is the director of marketing and development. And they will be guiding us through a few classrooms this morning, engaging us in a number of activities that we'll get to see. Before we jump over to Pope John Paul, though, please make sure that you've changed your speaker or your view to speaker view, which is in the top right corner of the grid box. And you can use that button in the Zoom at the top right. This will make sure, as I pin people, that you'll be able to see and highlight specifically our students. Instead of seeing all our wonderful faces today, we want to make sure you see our teachers and students. And also, please make sure that you keep yourself muted just so we can hear as much as possible inside of the classrooms. So Yamili, if you are on the phone, I'll ask you to, I'm going to pin you right now, and you'll be able to join us. Yes. Hi, Yamili, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Are you inside the classroom right now?
I am right next door. I can head over right now.
I was actually going to ask Phil if he wanted to say a few words. So Phil, I'm actually going to pin you right now to see if you want to add in anything about Pope John Paul and your role there as the principal.
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for everyone being here this morning. I really appreciate this opportunity. Again, welcome to the beautiful Brighton Park neighborhood on the southwest side of the city. It's a great day here today. It's my favorite part of the day is watching the school wake up every morning. I actually go out to the parking lot every single morning and help pulling the kids out of the cars and getting their backpacks on and whatnot. So it's a special time of the day for me. I actually see every single child walk through the door in the morning. As Kevin said, my name is Phil Cahill, and I'm the principal here. I got dropped into this role here last October, and they started the school year without a principal and whatnot. And my background has always been in athletics as an athletic director. I've spent the last 40 years of my career all in Catholic schools. And so they approached me and said, "What do you think about becoming a principal?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And then they said, "Well, don't forget this thing they call a pandemic. You're going to be dropped in the middle of that as well." So there are a few challenges that lie ahead, and but with the great people that were already in place here, we made it through. As I always like to talk about, I think it's always important to talk about where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go. And the Brighton Park neighborhood back in the day was a strong Polish hold in the city of Chicago. So much so that when Pope John Paul II was named Pope in 1979, he decided to travel to Chicago to say Mass. And I don't know if any of you are old enough to recall. I know I am. But he actually came to our school here and said Mass in our parking lot. And the altar is still out in our parking lot as we speak. It's the exact altar that he said mass from. The next day, he said a mass down at Grant Park in front of 1.2 million people. And that still is a remarkable feat. So they decided to name our school Pope John Paul II because of his visit here to Chicago. We started our school year, when I was brought in here in October, we had 130 students. Today, we're up to 142. That may not seem like it's remarkable, but that's about a 9% increase in our enrollment. That's not anything that I've done. It's been because of the people that we've got here in place, as well as the great work that the Big Shoulders people are doing. Currently, our 8th graders are involved in what is called a stock market program, where they have money they can actually spend in stocks and create portfolios on their own. And I wasn't real familiar with it until the end of the year last year when graduation rolled around. And suddenly I'm getting these checks in the mail that are made out to some of our 8th graders. And I kept thinking to myself, there's something wrong about this. These kids are receiving money for doing something that they should have just, been doing on their own as a project. But no, and in fact, it was real money. So what we did was we put the checks into graduation cards for the kids, and it was $32 and change or something like that. But they were really excited to know that their work and their investment actually came to fruition. So that was kind of cool to see that. And again, that's all in Big Shoulders. This year we have a math initiative that Big Shoulders has brought to us. The value of that is $25,000, which is a remarkable amount of money. And so we have a half a dozen of our teachers that are involved with that, where they have a coach that comes in from the outside and works with our teachers. And of course, that parlays itself into the class where our teachers are doing a great job. High school matriculation going up to Catholic high schools is a real important part of my role here. Again, with Big Shoulders help, some of our students are engaged with test prep, as they have to take the test to get into some of those the Catholic schools. So again, those are some of the important items. And then Sam came out and led a great service day out here a couple of weeks back, and really spruced up our campus. We had, I think, close to 20 volunteers that Sam worked with and put together, and they painted doors and windows and gutters and things that just needed to be spruced up. That back in October when I came on campus, I thought, boy, this is really a diamond in the gem here. If we could just get a couple of these things fixed. And sure enough, through the help with Sam and all those people here for that service day, they were able to do so. I could go on and on about what a great place this is, but I just want to finish with, and then we can move on, and you really can help out. One of the things I've brought to our campus, and it's nothing, terrific or off the charts, but our kids have heard this, my parents have heard it, my teachers have heard this. I want our children to not just care about learning, but more importantly, learn about caring. In this day and age that I think is so important. And, I told our teachers, the first 2 days of the class this year, I wasn't really going to do it, but I was going to fire them if they opened up a textbook. That we just needed to get back to building relationships with children and see where they're at, see what level they're at, see where their families are at with all they've gone through with COVID and being on remote learning and all that. So I think our teachers have really done a good job. But I think it goes back to that. Let's care about learning, but more importantly, let's learn about caring. So again, thank you for being here today. I hope you enjoy your visit, and maybe someday you can stop out here and I could take you on a real life tour, and I'd look forward to doing so. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Philip, for sharing about Pope John Paul and all the awesome, programs that are at your school. I know Sam Rodriguez, who's on the phone, leads our stock market program volunteers and leads our service days, always for, volunteers and guests to get involved across our 70 schools. So thank you, Philip. Awesome. Well, we're going to jump over to Yamili, who's going to guide us through our classrooms this morning. Yamili, what classroom are we in right now?
Good morning. We are in kindergarten right now with Mr. Elliott Hardy's class. They're just doing their morning warm up. They're excited about this. And they are going to start working on their sight words. Their days of the week. They work on it in English and Spanish. And then they use the smartphone for this, and then also have their worksheets. I'm sorry, I don't know if you could hear me that well.
Yeah, we can hear you really well. Yeah, when
okay.
You're at the computer, we can hear you great. And what time do the students arrive at school, Yamili? Oh.
but I could jump in. The students arrive at 7:55 in the morning,
Awesome.
and their day ends at 3 o'clock.
Thank you, Philip. I was just curious.
Yeah, you really might be having a hard time hearing you in there. You know, I could probably supply a little narrative here too, is that
Yeah, that would be great though.
Mr. Elliott Hardy, their teacher, we are so blessed to have him. When we started the school year, as many of our Catholic schools did, well, many of our schools in Chicago, we didn't have a kindergarten teacher. And just by chance, he came across an ad that we had sent out. And he responded to it, and he's been a godsend to us. He's really a wonderful human being and very kind and gentle with the children. So
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, Philip.
You know, the kids' enthusiasm is infectious. My office is directly across the hall from their room, so I can hear them sitting across the hall. So it's kind of neat.
And Yumili, if you can hear me, do you mind explaining to the computer just exactly the activity that the students are participating in? I know it's probably hard to hear.
So Mr. Hart has a board with the sight words.
So what they're doing now is some of their sight words are written on that easel in the front of the classroom, and they are being asked to go up and point at the word, and then the children recite the word together that they point at. So words like in, out, go, up are what they're working on now. There's some enthusiasm there, huh?
Yes, yeah. Dancing, stretching, and getting your vocab up.
Yeah, right, exactly. The children are out of uniform today too, as well, because they have gym class today. So they're dressed as they are, so they get to wear sweatpants and sweatshirts.
A good reason to dress down. Athletic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can see off to the left there, each of our classrooms is equipped with a smart board. All of our kids have Chromebooks that we were fortunate enough to get our hands on last year to develop some differentiated learning even during remote learning. And that classroom has a self-contained bathroom as well, which is kind of neat for the little ones. Although 2 minutes before we came on air, the principal was informed that the bathroom flooded. So,
It's never dull, right? Oh,
Yeah,
something's happening.
jack of all trades are probably master of none.
Right up here. Oh. Down. Down. A-R-D.
Yeah, and Philip, how many students are in kindergarten?
Right now, we have 11 students in kindergarten. That's one of the things that we are working on building up. We do have a preschool and for 3 and 4-year-olds. And we started the year with just 11 in preschool. And tomorrow, we will have our 19th student joining us. So we've upped that from 11 to 18 just this year. Well, since, the end of last year. So we're really excited about that. That's one of the very few ways, look at that one. That's one of the very few ways you can build enrollment. Sometimes you get lucky with a transfer, or, somebody moves into the neighborhood because of parents' work or whatever. But we've really put a lot of time and money and energy into build up from the bottom up. A couple of weeks ago, we did a fall festival where we brought in a petting zoo, and that was a huge hit. We did a pumpkin contest, a scarecrow contest, petting zoo. I even made 7 gallons of chili for the event. I'm told it was just average at best, but that's fine. So we sold chili and pizza and whatnot. And we weren't trying to raise funds for that. It was a fundraiser, not a fundraiser.
M-U-S-B. New. Everybody say new.
And if anyone has any questions, we're going to spend just a few more minutes in our kindergarten classroom and jump over to, I believe it's 3rd grade, but we could all be surprised.
There they go. They're all pretty proud of themselves.
I want everybody to connect at the top of your paper.
Yeah, our upper grades, we have 19 7th graders and 19 8th graders. So those are 2 large classes that we're going to try to replicate coming back in the next couple of years. So that's something that we will be working toward, really striving to get done. Last year, 95% of our 8th graders did go on to a Catholic school, so we're really proud of that. It's really something that, the big shoulders in the Archdiocese has promoted as well as I have. And so the next couple of weeks, I will be meeting individually with our 8th graders. I mentioned I've been 40 years in Catholic schools. 37 of those have been at the high school level. So it was quite a change coming from, well, my latest was at Brother Rice High School on the southwest side. So you can imagine moving from a all-boys Catholic high school to 3 and 4-year-olds and whatnot here. It's been quite a change, but a very welcome change. And, that's just some of the things that we need to work with here too.
That's amazing. You have a lot of experience all around.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to be jumping into the next classroom. Emily's going to be guiding us there.
Sorry, it's a little bit hard to hear right now.
That's okay.
But we just want to say thank you for boys and girls. We can stand up and say thank you. Come on over here, Anaya. Come over here from Pablo.
Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Say thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much. I'm going to be heading to the next room right now.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mr. Hardy. Yeah, whenever I'm having a tough day, I always either walk across the hall for a few minutes in kindergarten, or I go downstairs to preschool for 2 or 3 minutes. I'll tell you what, my whole world just gets back flipped up to where it should be. So that's one of the things that I didn't have for those years of working at the high school. You just don't get that kind of welcome. I was a 13-year-old boy once too, and boy, I'll tell you, working with these little ones is really special.
just energizes you. Just walking into the room is energy.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like I said, it just flips your whole world.
And I know a lot of our supporters have always been so just blessed to hear that our schools have remained open throughout, the pandemic. Do you want to just describe just a few, ways you've been able to, keep the students safe and keep learning in the school continuing?
Yeah, last year we remained open. About 80% of our students were in the building, while 20% opted not to come into the building. I'm proud to say that because of the measures that we took up to this point in time, from the time I came into the building last year in October, we have not had one single student-to-student transmission of COVID, student-to-teacher, or teacher-to-student transmission. That's not to say we haven't had a couple of students with COVID, but through tracing, we found out that those cases were through a family gathering at home, grandma or grandpa at home, living in a multi-generational home and whatnot, which is very common amongst our students. But fortunately, we have hand sanitizers in every room. We expect our children to continue with wiping down. And I know the Archdiocese came along and said that we no longer need to take temperature checks before they enter the building. I talked it over with the teachers over the summer and a handful of parents, and we decided that they wanted to keep the temperature checks in place, just one more level. And I'm telling you that the parents have been so supportive and appreciative of that extra level. And we continue to do that every morning before they get into the building. They do a temperature check. We ask them all the health questions. How do you feel? Do you have an upset stomach, sore throat? We ask them all those kinds of questions. And then everyone in the building has a mask on. Once they enter the building, it does not come off unless you're in a space like mine right now, where I'm the only person in my room where I can remove my mask. We do allow for the children to remove their masks at lunchtime, only while they're eating or drinking, and then they are returned to that. We've even asked our kids, they say that we've been told that if they're outside, they don't need to wear masks. Well, if they maintain 3 feet of distance, well, let's be real about this. Our kids don't know how to stay 3 feet away from each other at that age.
Right.
And so our kids all wear masks outside where they have recess, and it's not a big deal. It's kind of it's part of their program every day. So those are just some of the things that we've done to maintain our health, here at the school. And all of our classrooms have air purifiers that were provided to us as well. So that's really done a nice job for us. So in a nutshell, that's good. It's pretty much what we've done. We've had, I'm not going to lie, we've probably been lucky as well on top of all of our measures.
That's amazing to hear. And I know as I entered a couple of schools recently, the temperature checks, not just for COVID-19, but, also other viruses that, are feverish, like the flu or a cold, like, it's keeping everyone safe.
Right. Exactly, Kevin.
And
yep.
Are the students preparing anything for the holiday season coming up? Is there any programs you have?
We're working on putting together a choir. During COVID, children were not permitted to sing during that time. So we've been blessed a little bit with, we've got a long-term sub in our building in 4th grade. We're still looking for a 4th grade teacher. But the flip side of that is that he's an amazing piano player, a very gifted musician. And so he has agreed to help us put together a small choir that will be made up of 4th, 3rd, and 2nd graders. And so they do plan to put on a little presentation that we're going to record and then put it on our website and get it out on Facebook and whatnot. So that's what our plan is right now. If we're going to do any kind of Christmas pageant, we haven't gotten to that point yet. We're still, we've got a big popcorn fundraiser that we're going to work on in the next few weeks. That last year we were able to raise about $5,000. This year we're hoping to push that up to about $15,000. And it's really a no-brainer when it comes to fundraising. And what we want to do with that funding is buy some flat panel instructional screens for our classrooms. And our big thing right now that I really want to try to get, and my background in athletics is, it's just killing me that we don't have more sports teams. But we're trying to find more volunteers and trying to find funding to possibly pay stipends to some coaches to do that. But I'm going to need some parents to help out with it. And we haven't. And I'm hoping that if we find some money to do that, might be an enticement for some of these parents to step up and I'd love to get a soccer team and a basketball. Right now we have a 3rd and 4th grade basketball team, and that's about it. I went and watched them play this past Saturday, and it's a riot. I mean, it's an absolute riot what they're doing. They're just having so much fun and just see their participation and whatnot. So our after-school activities is one thing that I really need to grow and would love to grow.
That's great to hear. Yes, a lot of ways for people, to support Pope John Paul II and, Big Shoulders Fund schools across the board. I'm actually going to pin Yamili because she has come back with the 3rd grade. They were finishing up their bathroom break. So we get to join Yamili again as I pin you so we can see you on the screen. And I'll keep you up, Philip, in case we want to provide any context. But take it away, Yamili. Where are we?
Okay, great. So we are in 3rd grade, Mrs. Castillo's classroom, and I have with me a couple of students that wanted to say good morning. And then just very quickly, the class is going to be working on, it's a science activity where it's the life cycle of plants. They're going to be learning about how they grow and reproduce. So that's what we're going to get into right afterwards. But first, we have Eddie Malacher, who would like to say hi.
Hello.
Good morning. My name is Eddie Walker, and I'm in 3rd grade. And thank you for joining this meeting to see what we will learn about today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us in your classroom.
And Eddie is, he's part of the 3rd, 4th grade basketball team that we started here at the school. And he's also an altar server. I think yesterday was his birthday, was that correct? His birthday is an altar server.
Awesome. We're having a little hard time hearing you, Yamili. Make sure. No, in case if you are speaking, just make sure you're speaking right in the camera, because then the microphone will receive it.
Yeah, sorry about that. So,
okay.
So I just wanted to say that Eddie is in our basketball team that we just created for 3rd and 4th graders.
Great.
And then also he is an altar server. And yesterday in our Tuesday all-school mass was his first day serving. So
wow.
He had a great week today.
Congratulations. You're a busy scholar.
Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. And then we have Eunice. You want to stand close so you can talk?
Good morning. Thank you for coming. My name is Eunice Bono. Thank you for coming to see how we do science.
Awesome.
Yeah, so and Eunice is one of 3 siblings in our school here. So we have her little brother, which is in kindergarten, and then Osvaldo, which is in 5th grade, and he was just inducted into the Galler Scholars yesterday.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Again, it's Mrs. Rachel Castillo and her 3rd grade classroom.
We've been talking about reproduction. You can tell me what reproduction is. You can tell me what reproduction is. Nice and loud. I do. It grows again. Okay, so the sparkle life cycle, right? It starts off as what? Then what happens to it? What happens to it? Plant that seed in the ground, then what happens? Aiden. It starts growing. It starts growing. What starts to grow? What's the first thing that grows, Ariana? The stem, okay? Then what happens? Maddie. It starts getting leaves. What happens underground? What happens underground so that those things can happen, Tim? They get roots. They get roots. And what do those roots do? Sebastian. Gives them food like nutrients. Gives them food, nutrients. So to grow to that sprout, get those leaves, then what starts to happen? Victoria?
I'm going to try to walk down to the classroom and see if I can't provide some color commentary here.
That would be great, Philip. Yeah. And thank you everyone for putting your ear to your screen. I know it's a little hard to hear, but it's really exciting to be in the classroom with our students
It
today.
makes more of that same vegetable or what? Or fruit or plant. Yes, very good. So reproduction means that it's going to keep making the same what? The same thing again, and it goes through that life cycle. Very good. So let's look at page 12. Okay. And we're going to talk about reproduction at our book about reproducing the comb. Where do we see comb?
So they're talking about reproduction of cones
From pine trees.
in pine trees.
Very good. When do we see pine trees? When do we see pine trees? Around what time? Go ahead. Fall time, okay? When do we put pine trees in our home?
So they're being asked where they might see pine cones and what time of year.
Nice level area.
A pine tree life cycle is similar to a flowering plant, but pine trees don't have flowers. Instead, they form seeds inside cones. Pollination takes place when the wind blows when the wind blows the pollen from male cones to female cones. Seeds develop in the female cones. When the seeds are ready, the cone opens and the wind blows the seed to new places.
What does it do? To reproduce more cones. What does it do, Sebastian?
I don't know if you can hear that, but they're learning about that. There's male cones and female cones.
That's a timely thing, right? As the seasons change,
Exactly.
they get to see it happen around them. So that's really cool for them to be able to learn.
Male cones and then to the female cones.
Right. So that's male cones.
We talked about how when the wind blows, it blows some of the seeds. Yeah, you're all getting a firsthand view of how difficult it can be to teach the children with masks on as well. It's very difficult, and what these children actually went through. You're again firsthand seeing how difficult remote learning was for so many of these children, and how far behind they probably are and are behind.
Turn yellow and drop off during audit time.
Autumn is another name for what season?
Fall.
Fall. Almost fall, very good. All right, so what we're gonna do now is, because we're talking about reproduction, I'm gonna read you what are these? Pumpkins. When do we see pumpkins? When do we hold little elves' hand? That's where.
The teacher in this classroom too, his name is Miss Castillo. She's one of our assistant principals. She's the longest tenured teacher we have here in our building. She's been a great asset to not only me, but the entire community.
We just saw pumpkins during what holiday? Halloween, right? We just saw. So we're gonna talk about the life cycle of a pumpkin and how it reproduces more what? Pumpkin. Pumpkin from the seed. Very good. So.
The life cycle of a pumpkin.
Pumpkin pie.
And Millie will probably just do a couple more minutes and then we'll close out in the classrooms if you can hear
Pumpkin seed
me.
is tucked into sun, warm earth. Spring rains soften its tough coat. A root reaches for nutrients. A sprout reaches for light. Soon jagged leaves rise from twisty vines, wandering in all directions. Bees visit golden blossoms, spreading pollen from flower to flower. Here and there, tiny green knobs replace wild looking flowers. The knobs can color and slowly swell, growing heavier by the day. Cooler nights arrive, vines shrivel. Left behind are pumpkins, 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 pumpkins. Pumpkins are a type of squash. They can be green, red, tan, yellow, white, or even blue. The pumpkins we know are best are bright orange. There are tall pumpkins, short pumpkins, smooth pumpkins, and bumpy pumpkins. Weedy ones only inches wide, or giants you can sit inside. Thump, 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 a pumpkin sounds hollow, but inside is stringy, wet coat and oodles of slippery white seeds. Seeds might be safe from next year's pumpkin.
Okay, so I should leave it on. The kids are gonna be working on like a activity in a little bit. It's more of like the paperwork activity, but I think we're gonna start wrapping this up. So again, Mrs. Castillo started out with, some reading. With the kids were doing readings from their books, talking about the life cycle of plants. Then she's reading the story to them, and then they're gonna start doing more of like an activity on that. But I think we might not be able to get to that part, but thank you so much. Let me see if we could just get a quick goodbye from all of them.
Thanks, Millie.
Are left in the field to nourish the precious soil.
Yes. If we could just have them all say goodbye. Students, if we could say thank you to everyone from the shoulder, songs of the shoulder. Say thank you for visiting us.
Thank you for visiting us.
Thank you for hosting us. Bye. Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you, Yamili.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yamili.
And thank you so much, Philip, for being able to, host us at Pope John Paul II. Do we have any questions that people want to throw in the chat for Philip? Give everyone just a couple minutes in case we get questions, but we really appreciate you taking time out of your day. Normally our in-person guests in Chicago schools in Northwest Indiana get a chance to, jump in the classroom, sit next to our students, hear them do their read alouds, see what a day in the life of the student really is. And as you saw, it can be difficult with, the masks and, our shy readers. It can be a little bit even more quiet for them. So as we work through this pandemic, we're really excited to be able to, have our students in the building those social skills and really, building that community again within our school. Anything to add, Philip, before we jump off with you?
No, I think that's it. Again, just to really appreciate the opportunity to have you into our building, albeit virtually. But again, it kind of gives everyone a real sense of what this was like for everyone in a classroom setting. And the job that our teachers did last year was just amazing. And I'm eternally grateful for all the work that they've done and continue to do. I'm very fortunate to have the staff that we do have here. So, and again, all the support that Big Shoulders has been to me personally, as well as the entire school and community. So thank you very much for everything. And again, you have an open invitation. Anybody on here who want to come out and take a look at the school, I'll walk you around the campus. I could show you, the altar and some of the what Pope John Paul means to this, not only this school, but this community as well. So thank you very much, and have a great weekend and a great day.
Thank you, Philip. I really appreciate you hosting us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Yamili. So now we're just going to jump into our closing it out with one of our Chairman Advisory Council members. But before we jump over to Vicky, we're just really excited to be able to go into Pope John Paul II. They're one of our 72, partner schools here in the city of Chicago, but also one of our 30 schools within the Big Shoulders Fund Plus. The Big Shoulders Fund Plus, for those of you who may not know, is a $70 million agreement and a 10-year philanthropic and operational commitment to 30 of our highest need schools, which educate about 5,600 students overall. We made this commitment back in January of 2020, right before COVID-19 hit, in recognition of the value provided to the Chicago families by these community-based schools. So we're really excited to be able to have this 10-year agreement to provide, more funds towards specific academic enrollment, fundraising, and finance goals. This investment is in addition to our ongoing support provided to our full network of 72 schools across the Chicago area. But over time, our vision for these schools will be more self-sufficient and vital. They will be linked to a network of a number of best practices that they can share amongst each other, provide efficiencies, attract and retain talented teachers and principals, and serve even more students. But above all, the schools will become an even stronger community-based organization within their neighborhood that enrich the families within their neighborhood and the students they serve. But as we continue to support students across Chicago, 80% of which identify as Black or Hispanic and 70% which reside in low-income homes, we have been able to watch them grow. 84% of our students choose to attend a Catholic high school or a quality CPS high school, and we see 95% of those students graduate high school. And even more so, 85% of those are, enrolling into college and persisting past their second year. And as we continue to track that progress, we've been able to see these young leaders come back to the city and become, employed, volunteer, and vote 2 times more likely than their peers. But most of all, we couldn't really do this without the support of our Next Generation board, made up of our auxiliary board, which is 170 young professionals across the city coming from a variety of different industries, fundraising and volunteering their time, as well as our Chairman's Advisory Council. So they are hosting today, and they're made up of over 150 members, sharing their talent, advocating for philanthropy and Big Shoulders Fund, and fundraising for, the Chromebooks that we actually saw in some of our classrooms today. So here to talk a little bit more about the Chairman's Advisory Council and, what they're doing today is our CAC host, if you will, Vicky. Vicky, I'm going to pin you right now. Thanks for joining us, Vicky.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay, perfect. So I'm having some network issues, so I do apologize. Technology, while great, can always be a little bit of a pain. So thank you, Kevin, for sharing, the Big Shoulders Fund, and thank you, Philip and Yumili, for letting us come into the school today. It's been a great experience, even albeit it's virtual. So we really enjoy the opportunity to engage with the scholars and with the teachers and with the schools. It really kind of brings what we're doing here to light. So I'm Vicky Schmucker. As Kevin mentioned, I am part of the Chairman's Advisory Council. I'm also part of the Lender Shoulders Day Committee. And it really has been thrilling just to kind of get involved and to support all of the schools and Big Shoulders in a variety of different ways. So again, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I hope that you were all inspired to see where your investment is going here with Big Shoulders Fund and to see the impact that it's having on all of the students. I know many of you are already involved, but if you are interested in becoming more involved this school year, we do have, a variety of different ways that you can help. We talked about the stock market program, but we also have mentoring programs and a racing team to raise money for, Big Shoulders Fund. We have the service days. You can sit on a school board. You can join the Next Generation board. or the Chairman's Advisory Council. So, there are so many ways to get involved and to just invest in these little scholars and their future. And it's been, for me, I've been part of this organization since 2019, and it has just been, so heartwarming and fulfilling to take part of it, and just to see what impact we are having on the future and on these kids. So in addition, we do have an event coming up before the end of the year. So as Philip mentioned, they had a service day at Pope John Paul II, and we are doing another service day. So we are doing a December Give Back Day on Saturday, December 11th from 9 to 12 at Lady of Topeka. And I apologize if I messed up the pronunciation of that name of that school. But, if you want to join, if you're interested in joining that volunteer event day or any of our other events or opportunities to volunteer, please look at the link in the chat. I think Kevin just sent that out to everybody. So again, we just want to thank all of our calendar sponsors, our hosts, everybody on the Chairman's Advisory Council, anybody that already takes part and helps in Big Shoulders Fund, for joining us today, for coming out, for supporting this great initiative and supporting these great causes. It's a day to remember. While virtual, it's very heartwarming and fulfilling to see all of these kids and to learn and be inspired. So we hope to see you all again soon. And Kevin and I are here to answer any questions that you may have on any of the different ways to get involved or any of the different events that we have. So Kevin, I'll pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vicky. And thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to join us today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw up one more thing on the screen before we close out. We're so excited to be able to, have this opportunity virtually as we enter this, new hybrid world that we're all part of now. But you'll see on your screen our calendar sponsors. So thank you again so much to our calendar sponsors and the Lend a Shoulder Day committee for hosting us today. Our co-chairs are Brett Hewlett and Joe Thompson. We really appreciate all of their leadership that they've been able to provide this year as we've been able to plan in this very, flexible environment. Planning these events have been, 2 times as hard nowadays, but we're really appreciative of the whole Lend a Shoulder Day, the Chairman's Advisory Council, Brett Hewlett and Joe Thompson for their leadership. As Vicky had said, we do have some upcoming opportunities. We hope that if you were inspired today or want to, see more of the students, we do have some options available. The Give Back Day link is inside the chat. If you want to join us for our Give Back Day, we'd be really excited to have you there. It's going to be, just basically a morning of service. It's hosted by our Young Professional Board. We'll be cleaning, organizing, getting the school ready for holidays, and, packing a little kits for our students there at Our Lady of Tepeyac High School. It's from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll be on both campuses, so we're trying to stay as socially distant as possible. Again, we do ask all of our volunteers in person to fill out a waiver that says you've been vaccinated or can provide a proof of the negative COVID-19 test. So if you're interested, again, that link is in the chat. If you are interested in, doing more virtual opportunities, we're finishing up our test prep program in the next 2 weekends, November 13th and 20th. This is an opportunity to showcase, some of our volunteer support for our 8th graders who will be taking a high school placement test in December for their private Catholic school. They do also have to take a test to enroll in some of the, the high schools that we know the names of, like College Prep and Whitney Young. So make sure that we're just making sure that our students are really just prepared for these tests. Lastly, we do have our racing team. If you're interested and you are someone who needs to check off that bucket list item, the marathon team is open right now for a fundraising minimum of $1,250, $1,000 and $250. Just register before November 30th. We provide complimentary training. We have fun group summer runs. We have a prime backdrop location for the morning of, and we make sure to have like a little after party for our runners. But if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know or Sam know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining our first hybrid virtual Lend a Shoulder Day program, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have a great week. Thank you again.